In a small university town lived Alessandro. Although he was in his early 20s, his independent spirit pushed him to manage his life with great maturity. He came from a modest family, and since he had started university, he had taken on the task of supporting himself by working as an evening janitor at the local school. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our stories. Alessandro knew well that life was not easy and that his future would be the fruit of sacrifice and dedication. Every morning, before class, he gave math lessons to the children of the neighborhood, earning just enough to cover his daily expenses. Then, in the evening, he went to the school where he had studied to clean the classrooms, the corridors, and the bathrooms. That job was not his life's dream, but he accepted it with gratitude. It allowed him to follow university courses during the day and at the same time to earn a living. One late autumn evening, after a long day of studying and working, Alessandro was taking out the garbage bags. The schoolyard was deserted. The wind was blowing lightly, and the leaves were piling up in small piles at the edge of the road. As he was walking toward the bins, he heard a strange sound, similar to a muffled cry. He stopped, trying to locate the source of the noise. At first, he thought it was a lost kitten, but when he approached the garbage cans, he saw a figure huddled in the shadows. It was a girl, probably 13 or 14, who was shivering from the cold and from crying. Her hair was disheveled and she was wearing dirty, torn clothes. Her eyes, filled with tears, looked up at Alessandro, who was surprised to see her in such a state. "What are you doing here? Is everything okay?" Alessandro asked in a calm and reassuring tone. The girl didn't answer immediately, but continued to stare at him with a lost look. After a few seconds, between sobs, she managed to say, "They're making fun of me. They tell me I'm weird." Alessandro crouched down beside her, trying not to make her feel uncomfortable. "Why do they say that?" he asked, even though he already knew the answer. "I don't know," she said. "I write stories. I like to make up worlds, but they laugh at me." Alessandro's heart sank. He understood what it was like to feel different and misunderstood. He too had experienced moments of isolation in the past. "You shouldn't worry about what other people think," he told her. "Writing is a gift. It's something wonderful, and you shouldn't stop just because other people don't understand." The girl, whose name was Sophia, looked at him in surprise. No one had ever told her that what she did had value. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand and finally allowed herself to smile, albeit faintly. "Thank you," she said in a low voice. "Why are you out here all alone?" Alessandro asked her, trying to figure out how she had found herself in that deserted courtyard. "I lost my glasses," Sophia replied, looking down as if it were her fault. "The boys took them off me and threw them away. I can't find them." Without thinking twice, Alessandro stood up and began searching through the leaves and garbage bags. After a few minutes, he found them, a little dirty but still intact. He handed them to her with a smile. "Here they are. Luckily, they're still healthy." Sophia took the glasses gratefully. "Thank you so much," she said, putting them on her face. She seemed a little more confident now, as if that simple gesture of kindness had already eased some of her pain. Alessandro invited her to sit on a bench and pulled out a sandwich from his backpack. "You haven't eaten, have you? Here, take it." Sophia hesitated, but then accepted the offer. She began to eat with enthusiasm, and Alessandro watched her with a mixture of tenderness and sadness. He knew what it meant to feel alone and misunderstood, and he wanted to do everything possible to make her understand that she was not alone. "It's late now. I'll take you home. Your parents will be worried," he said, giving her a light pat on the arm. From that evening on, Sofia began to wait for Alessandro almost every evening. They met outside the school after his shift at work, and they talked about everything: the books they loved, the stories Sofia wrote, the dreams they both had. Alessandro told her about his ambitions to become an engineer, while Sofia dreamed of becoming a famous writer. The weeks passed, and their friendship grew stronger. But Alessandro knew that soon their paths would separate. The winter holidays were approaching, and he had found a new job in the city, closer to the university. He knew that he would never return to the school where he worked as a custodian, and this knowledge saddened him. One evening, during one of their usual meetings, Alessandro decided to tell her. "Sofia, I have to tell you something," he began, searching for the right words. "This will be the last week that we see each other here. I found a new job in the city and I will no longer work here at the school." Sofia looked at him in disbelief. "What do you mean? We won't see each other again?" she asked, trying to hide the disappointment in her voice. Alessandro sighed. "Probably not. I'll be very busy with work and studies. I won't have much free time." Sofia's eyes filled with tears, but she tried to remain calm. "But we're friends, right?" she said, a hint of hope in her voice. "We are, and we always will be," Alessandro replied. "But life goes on, and sometimes we have to make difficult choices." Sofia looked down, unable to hide her pain. "I love you, Alessandro," she said finally in a small voice. "I'm sorry," he replied, feeling terribly guilty. "But you still have your whole life ahead of you. You have to focus on your dreams, on your stories. You must not listen to other people's criticisms anymore. Do you promise me?" She nodded shyly. That was the last time they saw each other. Alessandro moved closer to the university and his life changed completely. Years later, now a successful engineer, he often thought of Sofia and those evenings spent talking under the stars. He wondered what had happened to her, if she had continued to write, if she had managed to realize her dreams. One day, while walking through the city center, he entered a bookstore to look for a gift for a friend. As he browsed through the shelves, a name caught his attention: Sophia Marin. The title of the book was The Secret World of Dreams, and on the cover was a drawing of a girl with large glasses, similar to the one he remembered. Alessandro's heart skipped a beat. He took the book in his hands and began to leaf through it. It was a collection of stories, full of magic and fantasy, just like the one Sofia told him years before. The dedication at the beginning of the book made him smile. "To my friend Alessandro, the one who taught me to believe in dreams." That day, Alessandro understood how much he had meant to Sofia and how much she had meant to him. Their friendship, though brief, had left a deep mark on both of them. He closed the book, bought it, and left the bookstore, knowing that somehow their paths had found each other again. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next time.